Assemblyman Felix Ortiz, thanks very much for your time. It's good to see you.
Thank you for having me.
So Somos, there are two of them a year, correct? Yes, I actually saw you in Puerto Rico. It was lovely to be there. I'm so sorry we won't be there, considering the weather is not exactly spring-like. But what is exactly the focus? You've changed the name.
Well, we did, and I think we want to bring the Hispanic community to have a better understanding that after 24 years, not only we continue to be strong, but we will be stronger, according to the news figure of the census. But this is our 24th anniversary of Somos El Futuro,
right,
here in New York State. And we hope to bring people across the state to talk about very solid public policy and engage on the debate of what is happening with our economy here today.
But Somos El Futuro, I mean, the future is now. You aren't the future. This is it. I mean, the census numbers show that actually the Hispanic community is dominant in the state, and it's always been a community that elected officials have been wooing as a very important voting bloc. Part of the problem, though, is that it is not a bloc that votes in solidarity, right? There's a lot of disparate elements in the community, and that makes it difficult for elected officials to try and win that vote.
Well, I think it's a couple of faults. Number one, the Hispanic community is traditionally a very conservative community.
Right.
Secondly, both parties, Democrats or Republicans, sometimes have a tendency to take them for granted and underestimate the Hispanic community. And I do believe that since this Dream Act that never took place and haven't taken place yet in Washington, I think that the Hispanic community really took this very seriously, and they decided to step to the plate and say, we're going to get counted, we're going to be counted, and I want to be part of the process. And I think that show how angry they are and how they step to the plate, and how we in the task force also, I thank the members, because every single one of them activated themselves to go throughout the state, throughout the 62 counties, to talk about the census, how important the census was. So this was something that I was doing underground to make sure that we can motivate our people, using the fact that we don't have a Dream Act, that we continue being taken for granted, and that we had never been on the table. We always been on the menu.
Okay.
And it's about time that we be on the table.
Well, okay, but what is that? No, I don't think you mean on the table. At the table?
At
is
the
that
table.
You mean? Okay, because on the table is a little scary. But what does it mean going forward politically for, I mean, and let's just pull it out a little bit for Barack Obama, for example. I mean, you know, the Latino community was very popular with Hillary Clinton. They liked her a lot during the Democratic presidential primary. And particularly when you're saying that it tends to be a more conservative community, Republicans have been going after that vote for a while. George Pataki was huge for, it was Amigos de Pataki. Do you remember that?
I remember that very clearly.
He did quite well because of that in his third re-election bid, I believe.
That's right.
Right. So what does it mean going forward?
Well, the other thing, you have former Mayor Giuliani, who galvanized on that. You have Mayor Bloomberg, who also galvanized on that. So you know, in reality, they can the Hispanic community become to be a very serious swing vote. Where are we going from here? I think what you're going to see in the near future is that we get to galvanize the data, and also to begin to be part of the process on redistrict, and begin to talk about redistrict. We're going to have a section during Somerset Sunday where we're going to be talking strictly about redistrict and census, where those numbers are, where those numbers are throughout the 62 county, and they are united, they are solid in one particular area. Can that help us to step to the plate to say we will have an opportunity now to create districts? So we want to look into the political empowerment very, very seriously, and it's something that I began to work on for the last 10 years around the 62 counties in the state of New York.
Now, when you and I spoke at Somos immediately after the election last year, we were in Puerto Rico, and it was not clear that then Governor-elect Andrew Cuomo was coming, and you were not happy about that. You had issued an invitation, and it was not immediately accepted. He did end up showing up at the end of the event. It was on a Monday morning, if I remember. Some people had gone home. You extended an invitation to him this time around, and he's coming. Was it easier to get him to come this time?
Well, I think we had developed a very interesting relationship with the second floor, the Hispanic caucus. The governor committed himself to have their commissioner and the caucus to be part of the budget process. So what I have decided is to invite commissioners to come to the Hispanic caucus or to the task force to talk about the budget, about the issues, and how we can work together with the new administration. And the governor has been very kind to have the commissioners to participate to the extent where the day before the budget, we had the lieutenant governor who came over and participated and explained to us what is this economic development thing that you're working on, what is all this regional thing that is going to happen, how can we be part of that, how can we be part of the process. And we also addressed the issue of diversity within the Cuomo administration, that the Hispanic community is very concerned, and was very clear that the lieutenant governor was listening to bring the message back to the governor. So it has been a very interesting dynamic, if you will, and I think that we see what the near future is going to bring with the new census information. By us continue, and I say us, the task force continue to travel throughout the 62 counties in this state and continue to empower and to motivate our Hispanic community to register and to participate.
To this end, about commissioners, we are seeing right on the eve of Somos the announcement of a new Secretary of State, Cesar Perales, right? I'm saying this correctly?
Right.
He is a former Mario Cuomo administration official, and he also worked for the Carter administration. He's a very respected guy. This is a position that has been in the past a springboard. Mario Cuomo held that position and then went on to run for lieutenant governor and then governor. But Mr. Perales is not a politician, and he's also probably not going to run for anything. He's in his 70s. So this selection of Mr. Perales, what do you think about it?
I think it's a very interesting dynamic. Number one, like you said before, Cesar Perales is an individual who has managed to hold different positions from the federal government down to the state, down to the city of New York. Lastly, he's the former executive director of the Education Fund for the Puerto Rican and Latino. And as a result, he retired from there to become a scholar at CUNY. And his appointment is not only critical for this administration, but also to send a clear signal that he has selected somebody who has a very deep root with the Hispanic community, not only in New York City, but throughout the state.
Are you satisfied to this point with the diversity in the Cuomo administration? Because the governor came under fire for the all-white ticket in 2010. The Democratic ticket had no members of color, not someone who was Hispanic and not someone who was black, and only one woman, Kirsten Gillibrand, at the time. So were you satisfied because the governor said he would have the most diverse administration in history, in the history of the state? And does he?
I will say this to you. I'm satisfied about one thing and one thing only. I'm satisfied that the governor has managed to keep his promise about having a line of communication between the task force and his administration. And that will help us. Once this budget is passed now, that is behind us, it's behind us already, so we will begin to have that kind of dialogue about the diversity and the people.
But it doesn't sound to me,
no, but let me just say this to you. The lieutenant governor, when he came to visit with us on Tuesday, we asked those questions. How dissatisfied the Hispanic leadership has been about not having the visibility of the 80% of the Hispanic community supporting this administration, and he said it very clearly. You know, we are going to be making appointments. We are going to be making appointments once we close the budget, and we want you, the task force, to continue to be part of that process, and we are engaging on that discussion. We're engaging on the participation, and I will tell you this much, Liz. I will keep this administration accountable and responsible for their promises, and we're going to measure them accordingly.
Okay, fascinating. So, Assemblyman, we will be around during Somos. We will look for you. We will look for the governor. I want to thank you very much, Felix Ortiz, for coming in to talk to us.
Thank you.